Tonight on PhillyCAM Voices, look at a plan to put more fruits and vegetables on the tables of local families. How can urban farming help heal Black and brown communities in Philadelphia? Thousands march at the 4th Annual Women's March at the Art Museum. We hear the issues that are important to them. Plus, WOAR, Women Organized Against Rape. The group is now expanding its programming to focus on men who are the victims of abuse. Good evening and thank you for tuning into PhillyCAM Voices. We begin with a look at urban agriculture. As reporter Chantel Belafonte explains, it will mean growing a green thumb.
Anyone seen Elvis?
The grassroots group, Philly Boricuas, started organizing community members in August to be more informed and active about the political situation in Puerto Rico. Last summer, the island erupted in mass mobilizations in response to a corruption scandal and insulting text message chats that implicated and eventually ousted former Governor Ricardo Rosello. More recently, they are organizing a relief effort to help people affected by the earthquakes that have plagued the island since January. Charito Morales, a local Puerto Rican activist and organizer with Philly Boricuas, leads a planning meeting with community members to discuss what they can do to continue to help Puerto Rico and prevent the mishandling of donations.
¿Cómo nos vamos a preparar? ¿Cómo vamos a prepararnos y cómo vamos a hacer que estos ayudas lleguen a Puerto Rico y que no nos pase como nos pasó anteriormente, que no llegaron a la población que nosotros queríamos que llegaran, que a las personas necesitadas, y no se pierdan, o como estamos en tiempos de política, que no vayan a jugar políticas con el sufrimiento ajeno.
Philly Boricuas participated in a national day of action where protests were held at HUD offices all over the U.S. to demand the federal agency release $18.5 billion in aid meant for Hurricane Maria recovery efforts in Puerto Rico.
We're here today because we want to demand that HUD release the remaining funds, disaster aid funds, that have been withheld illegally after being approved by Congress. So far they've approved $8 billion, but there's still another $10 billion that need to be approved, and it's imperative that that money get dispersed now, because Puerto Rico is going through yet another crisis. After Hurricane Maria, people are still suffering, and now people are suffering even more with the earthquake, and the infrastructure of the island is crumbling, and we need that money to help rebuild the island.
Since Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens, and they are eligible to receive disaster relief and assistance from the federal government.
And to me, the question is not really about whether we're citizens of this country. It's do the right thing. Do what's right for people in this country, whether they're immigrants, whether they're, as you say, they're non-citizens. Even if they're citizens, you have to do the right thing in helping people out. You have to develop a plan. And the leadership in HUD, as well as the leadership in the White House, is politicizing this whole situation, which is the wrong thing to do.
Philly Boricua members also rallied in North Philadelphia after news broke that the Puerto Rico government had dozens of warehouses with emergency supplies, which they failed to distribute to thousands of people living in outdoor camps due to the earthquakes and also to those affected by Hurricane Maria.
La razón más importante,
sí, y ese es el enfoque,
el enfoque, que es el juicio de Puerto Rico. Nosotros le estamos haciendo el juicio del pueblo hacia el gobierno. El juicio que nosotros le estamos haciendo al gobierno de Puerto Rico son por los 12 vagones perdidos, las paletas de aguas abandonadas en Ceiba y Dorado, los 13 almacenes suministros que estaban repletos de suministros. Queremos dejarles saber que por esa razón murieron 4.645 y muchísimas personas más. ¿Por qué hacer este daño a nosotros los puertorriqueños con tanto sacrificio, tanta persona que lo necesitaba, y dejar que las personas murieran de desnutrición porque necesitaban catre, necesitaban frisa, necesitaban pamper de adultos, los niños, los bebés, con los rash que tenían? Yo fui enfermera, yo soy enfermera, yo trabajé en Puerto Rico y yo puedo decir que no tuvimos mucho acceso a muchas cosas rápidamente porque nos las estaban deteniendo.
Grassroots groups such as Philly Boricuas continue to bring awareness to the issues regarding Puerto Rico and organize people in action. They have so far sent thousands of pounds of supplies to Puerto Rico and plan to continue educating people and advocating for decolonization of the island.
Hello, welcome back. We have Soil Generation here, and they're going to talk to us. What is Soil Generation all about? Sonia and Katrina, welcome. Talk to me.
Thank you for having us. Yeah. Excited to be here. You want to tell them a little bit about Soil Generation?
Soil Generation, we're a coalition of Black and brown farmers and farms in Philadelphia. We do a lot of things, but I think we're here in the capacity of policy work and working with the city and different groups within politics to push policy forward so that our folks can do the things that we want to do.
Wow, that is awesome. So how did it get started?
Well, we've been in formation for about 6 years. We're going into our 7th year. We were convened through the Public Interest Law Center. So about 7 years ago, we were Healthy Foods, Green Spaces at first, and we helped get lots of really good language into the land bank legislation. And we stayed coalesced and changed our name and became more grassroots in the last 6 years, and now we're Soil Generation.
So if someone said, okay, I've heard about Soil Generation, if I wanted to contact them, what would I expect to get from Soil Generation?
You would expect to come out to Soil Generation meetings to meet the rest of the farmers. Well, the thing is, it's a coalition of farmers and people who do food, gardeners and farmers and folks who do food work. So you come out to meetings and you meet other farmers and Black and brown folks who look like you and who are interested in the same things as you. And just come together, right? And then as we stay coalesced, maybe you show up to an action or come out, to advocate for some legislation for us along with us.
Okay. So what if there's that person out there says, I don't have a green thumb, I kill cactuses. What can they do to help out?
A lot of our farmers are also working with organizations and farms that are affiliated with our coalition as well, who are working towards building community sovereignty and food security for our neighborhoods. So there are lots of volunteer opportunities for folks who are newer, who want to learn from somebody who maybe has been doing this for a while. A lot of our affiliated farms have volunteer opportunities.
Yeah, as well. We actually just started a fellowship because we're creating a portal and an administrative collective. So we're going to be offering back-end support to small nonprofits and that are in the farming food business. So you can check us out on our website, which is soilgeneration.org, and apply to our fellowship that just started. We just went out and put the announcement out last week.
We also have some pretty great kind of social, political ed opportunities. We've done some workshops around cooperative work. There's lots of little things that they're not little, lots of big things that we're doing. And so, so on our platforms, we like to promote those opportunities too for folks to come learn with us.
Right, because we mostly fight for land access. So the biggest piece that we realize for gardeners, the biggest hurdle for them is access to land. So we do a lot of land workshops for the community, workshops on how to collectively hold land, workshops on how to navigate the system within the city to get access to land, to grow food on.
So I do see a lot of little corner spaces. Do you guys have anything to do with building those corner gardens?
Philly has a really rich history of urban farming and gardening that goes back, as far as the founding of Philly. Really, Philly is a farm city in its origins, and so we've really seen a lot of immigrant communities and Black folks from the Great Migration in the South continuing that practice, also as a way of feeding community in times when economic factors, but also history of racist policies creating barriers for community. Urban agriculture has been a practice for marginalized communities for decades, and so we're seeing that continue, and it's not just a way of surviving, it's a way of thriving. So it's been a space where folks have also been able to practice and preserve their cultures.
Yes.
So talk to us about the last meeting. What has happened?
So we're right now, Soil Generation is collaborating with the City of Philadelphia and also Interface Studios to create to do the Urban Ag Strategic Plan for the city. And so that's the work that we've been really focused on this year, which we're really excited about. So this year, we have one Urban Ag Strategic Plan already for the community, and we have another one that's coming up next month, right?
Yeah, in March we have so phase 2 for the public meetings. The last 2 weeks of March we'll have 2 meetings. And we're doing 2 because we want to be geographically conscious. We'll have one in North Philly, one in West Philly. Our public meeting number 1 showed us that there was a lot of representation from those areas specifically.
Yeah.
So we really wanted to give those areas an opportunity to have their own kind of space and conversation. So phase 2, meeting 2 is coming in March.
Yeah.
Meeting 1 was really amazing.
Yeah.
We had such a great turnout.
We had about 300 people showed up. Yeah, it was amazing, and it felt for us, this has sort of been 6 years in the making. Like now we have the opportunity to really interface with the city and find out, how they can support us better as growers.
All right.
And what was cool about meeting 1 was how affirming it was. I think as community folks, we've been trying to push our narrative, and it gets washed out by this image of urban farming being a hobby, and being able to have that many people in the room say, no, this is what we want, this is what it is, gave us the people power to say, no, this is real, this is our truth.
Yeah.
And so it was the most affirming thing, I think, so far from the work.
Wow,
It's been
great information. How can people get in contact with you or reach you?
Well, they can check us out at soilgeneration.org or on our Instagram, which is still at Soil Generation, and we are also on Facebook.
All right. Well, Sonia and Katrina, thank you so much for your time. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thank you.